Take a look. It's March the 8th, 2024. I am at Joel Pearl. It's time to get in the weeds. Jeremy, I have two things that I now need to update on our opening video. One, the newest member of the All Elite Wrestling family. I need to Photoshop a mustache on Kazuchika Okada. And number two, I need to end the video or end the intro with The Rock saying, "Now go home and smoke some crack." Everyone's doing it. I don't know why we're not.
We do need the Okada mustache on there. We do need that. So tell Tim to fix that up.
Can do that. Yeah. Tim and I were supposed to hang out this week. We were originally going to go to Greektown Wrestling in Toronto, which is, by the way, on Saturday. Sammy Callahan's going to be at the show, so go check that out. And then the other thing we were going to do, if not that, was we were going to drive to Windsor for a TNA Sacrifice. And then we realized it's in Windsor, and we promptly said, no.
Instead,
now go home and smoke some more crack. That's probably the plan. It's better than anything else we would have done this weekend. I mean, come on.
Sounds a lot better. Sounds a lot better than go watching wrestling. That sucks.
It does.
Who wants to do that?
Speaking of which, I have filled out the proper paperwork and forms to go to AEW Dynamite in Toronto on the 20th as official media capacity. So we'll see how.
You gonna watch Adam Edge be a little bitch? Oh shit! Oh,
2 minutes in. It's all right. We've been golden dollar signed every day this week. It's okay.
Really? For what?
I couldn't tell you. The show has weeds in it. People automatically assume it's the other kind, when really it's the weeds that you weed whack with a big weed whacker.
Of this show, just so we don't get golden dollar signed.
I love how that's the only reason. It has nothing to do with the person who coined the phrase in the first place. That's fine. We get in the weeds. Not him. He sucks. Either way, that's the plan. I might, and if you're Ottawa adjacent, I might go to Collision too.
That sounds terrible as well.
I might be visiting. I might be having to go home and see my folks again. An unexpected visit, but if I can do it around when AEW Collision is in Ottawa, then I can kind of kill two birds with one stone and also get away for a night from everything going on there. So, it's not all bad, but I'm hoping that AEW will clear me to go to Dynamite in Toronto, and I will see everyone there for the Adam Edge versus Christian Cage match number 3, which is actually match number 4 in their trilogy now known as
Adam Edge can't count. Needs to learn. The Canadian education system failed him.
I'm trying to think who the premier of education was in Ontario at that time, but then I just remembered that Edge probably was in the middle of nowhere and just had a poor teaching situation going on.
Poor Canadian education system. This man can't even count up to 4. What is happening?
Two things. People pointing out in the chat, someone saying they're not going to make it to Collision in Ottawa. They're actually calling it Collusion, which is even better. AW Collusion. It may have been Bob Ray who was the premier. Anyway, not important. Going to Raw in July, that is a possibility because I think it's actually around my mom's birthday. So that's another excuse to go to Ottawa. And then Collision in London. Good luck with that. Like London, Ontario. I ain't going there.
If you see me look up this way way too much during this show, I'm watching trade deadline coverage.
It's more fun than whatever we got to talk about.
Announce Crosby to the Avs. That's all I care about.
No thanks. 4 Canadian, 3 American. That's how it works. They're having their 4th match. Our Christian Cage and
it's their 4th match. Like, why do people think it's the 3rd? Just because Adam Edge can't count? It's not. It's their 4th match. Christian beat him the first time. He lost the second time at the pay-per-view, but then he immediately beat him. It's 2-1. Series over. Like, I don't like Adam Edge.
Now they're going to tie it up again in Toronto when Adam Edge wins he's going to become a 2-time TNT champion. And then we're all going to sit there being like, well, what do we do with all this information?
I don't like Adam Edge.
Wow. Shots fired. I will never speak ill of any AEW performer or staff member or product person ever in my life. I don't do that. Oh, never mind. What's this? We got your media request. You are approved. Dude, AEW is awful, eh?
Did they deny your media request?
It doesn't happen that quickly.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Although that would be a great bit if I found out on the air that I was approved.
You can't do that, Joel. You can't, be excited to go to these events. People get mad about that.
That's true. I also, because I have no friends, will not be taking any photos of friends at the event. Except for one, but she works with she works with the company, so I guess it's different. Anyway, point is, that's going to be a fun time.
Hey guys, I put this in the chat in the Discord. Everyone go subscribe to the Discord. What are you laughing at?
No, this is a comment in the chat. Rare Beast got me.
Oh, all right. Yeah, you can say what you want about Kevin Kelly.
That's right.
What?
Just it's okay. It's okay. KK, just go. You'll be fine. You'll have a great time just volunteering on the railroad. Good luck with you.
So I'll circle back to what I was going to say.
Yeah, let's go wherever we're going now.
Let's talk about Kevin Kelly.
Sure. Do you want to talk about how he thinks he was the best announcer for AEW when really he wasn't even the third best announcer on his own team? Sorry, KK. You had a great run in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Sorry, I'm letting a lot of shit out right now. You had a great run in New Japan Pro
Why
Wrestling.
do you keep calling him KK? That's weird.
I just know him as KK. I just call him KK. Sorry, Kevin. You had a great run. And then the last 2 years in New Japan weren't that great. And then they didn't let you finish out your time in New Japan. So that was a good, that was kind of proof positive. And he wasn't good at Collision. He wasn't trying. He didn't actively get better. You didn't learn the roster. You didn't learn the way AEW operates. It's like you dropped in cold. You were the Adnan Virk of AEW Collision. He was. He was Adnan Virk. It didn't work. Adnan Virk didn't work. Anyway, the point is, he didn't need to be there. He was pitched for the job by the guy that he then turned around and shot fires back at, allegedly, and he's out. And he did it to himself. This is a guy, he literally did it to himself, and you cannot blame anyone else except for the railroad.
So I'm not gonna pretend like I listen to a whole lot of the commentary, because I've gotten very good at tuning out just basically all commentary across all sports and just focusing on what I'm watching. This is from years of playing video games and never paying attention to the commentary on the video games, and just years of just watching all this stuff. So I can't really say how good or bad Kevin Kelly was. I know that people didn't appear to be fans of his work on Collision, and I can't say that I paid enough attention to know how good or bad he was. My issue with Kevin Kelly is, like, he just went online and he just, like, tweeted. And you know my rule about that, Joel. You know my advice about that, Joel.
Play the video. Just play the dance.
That means you need to shut the fuck up. That's what I do if I don't have no army. I would fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
And that's the first thing I thought about when this whole thing started. By the way, post wrestling, they I know we also released on the report that he had been fired by PW Torch. PW Torch, they put out the report that Kevin Kelly was fired. I'm seeing that post wrestling. They said they asked for comment, and Kevin Kelly responded, quote, "It's an internal matter. We are handling it within the organization." Those are Kevin Kelly's comments.
Okay. Good luck. Good luck to whatever it's gonna be. I don't know. He should have shut the fuck up, though. Should have just shut the fuck up.
It's so easy.
I don't know why he's going after Ian, who's, like, by all accounts the nicest person in the world. His photo was different on the website. Was hilarious, honestly, that he got the kind of neck up shot Everybody else got the waist up shot. He's like square
He
peg,
took it
round
from home.
hole.
Yeah, he just took it from home, or he took it on his phone and said, "Here you go. This is good enough," and that was it.
Man, just shut up, dude. Just everyone, just shut the fuck up. I don't know what Kevin Kelly's gonna do next. I guess he didn't want to be in New Japan because of the he didn't want to be away from home so much. He's been replaced in New Japan. Walker Stewart's doing well there. Where else he's going? I'm sure. The thing is like the job he was doing may have been bad, may have been good. I don't know. Again, didn't pay enough attention. But you can get another job even if like you're not great at your previous job. You know what I mean? Like, that happens all the time in wrestling. You're like, wow, you kind of weren't great here, but we'll hire you anyway. We think you could just do better in our system. It happens all the time. It happens all the time in sports. It's not even wrestling. It's sports. It's like, yeah, you weren't a great fit there, but you can come over here and we think you could be a great fit here. We think you could do better here. We think we can get more out of you here. That can always happen. But when you do stuff like this, when you do the outbursts on social media and you try to go after coworkers and things like that, that's going to make it a little bit more tough to get that second job, that second chance. Unless you are, of course, like CM Punk level draw. Then it's a little bit more feasible of like, all right, you know what? You may have punched some people backstage there, but you can make some money. We can make some money with you over here. That doesn't happen when you're.
They tried it in the WWE. No, they tried it in the WWF in 1998, and it didn't go over so well. In fact, it injured somebody at the time, putting a little desk in front of the announce table.
It doesn't work as well when you are an announcer, and you're not like bringing in money to that level. A lot of announcers.
So you wonder where he's going next. I know this was meant as a joke, but honest to God, they need somebody. Joe Galli's fantastic. I actually wish Joe Galli was literally anywhere else where he could get seen. But like,
I mean, MLW.
I was gonna say MLW.
Matt Stryker appears to be out. He hadn't called the last couple of shows after the Riddle stuff. So,
oh, that's right. Oh god.
Yeah.
Well, what are with these people just not being able to? What's the word? Oh, right. Shut the fuck up.
Power slap would be fantastic.
Oh, dude, could you imagine? He would be perfect. He would basically make a whole channel on Rumble. Anyway, it was just.
I don't think anybody gets names wrong on purpose, right?
Like, no, I don't think so either. I think they just. It's easy to get caught up in your own words. I do it myself, and sometimes I listen back, and I'm like, "Oh, I said the wrong person." Cresta caught me last night. We were talking about Johnny Swinger, Dirty Dango, Josh Alexander, and Tommy Dreamer in like a conversational point, and I kept screwing up Dango and Swingman, and she was like, "You mean Swingman?" I'm like, "Yep, yes I do." That's just.
I mean, Renee called Daniel Bryan on the pre. It happens. Like it does. It's human nature.
Yeah, especially if you're someone who's coming from different companies, and in the case of like Renee, she literally worked with Daniel Bryan as the character for many years, and now she's working with Bryan Danielson. So there you go.
Yeah, it happens, and sometimes you just call somebody.
Yeah, Daddy Magic called Adam Copeland Edge. Then when Edge came in, when Adam Copeland came in, everyone called him Edge, and Tony was like,
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, especially when somebody has been somebody else for so long, and you're so used to calling them that. Yeah, so like that's a little bit forgivable unless it continues to happen, and then it's like, all right, like you gotta. Now it just feels like you're not doing any prep work. If it happens like once or twice, in the span of a few weeks, like sure, it's gonna happen. We talk a lot. We all make mistakes when it comes to that. But like if it's a constant theme of the show, then we got a bigger issue with things.
Last point before we move on. The whole I'm better. I'm one of the top commentators, yada yada. And I said, you weren't even the top commentator on your commentary team. We literally live in a world where in AEW, Daddy friggin' DDP Magic was a better commentator than you.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna be a little bit fair to Kevin here in that his role was different. Daddy Magic can just kind of
He's there to
go in there, riff, and have fun with it. This is why people love Pat McAfee.
Yeah, of course.
Like when you're a little bit looser with that, you come across a lot better. Kevin Kelly's trying to do play-by-play, so it's a different role. I think the writing was on the wall, by the way, for Kevin Kelly when Tony Schiavone joined that team. When Schiavone started doing Collision, I'm like, ooh, they ain't got a lot of faith in Kevin Kelly right now.
Anyone remember what happened to Kevin Patrick in WWE with Michael Cole joining a 3-man booth? The hope there initially was that Michael Cole and Kevin Kelly, or sorry, now I'm messing it up. Kevin Patrick and Michael Cole would work well together to the point where Cole can say, my job here is done, bye-bye. And that didn't happen. And here we are now. Kevin Patrick is left. He's doing well, which is good. But we're in the same situation. Tony Schiavone was brought in because Kevin Kelly wasn't doing the adequate job needed to do Collision, to call Collision. Him and Nigel also had a background, like working Ring of Honor shows. That part was equally frustrating. It's like, you know a lot of these talent. I don't know what or where. And I saw someone in the chat saying, he wanted to get fired on purpose. No, I don't think he did at all. I think he very much wanted to have a job and he very much wanted to keep doing his job. But I think he maybe valued himself more than he was being valued.
I don't think he wanted to get fired on purpose, but I don't think he helped himself by, by doing this stuff. Like it probably was not an intentional thing, but also he made it kind of easy for the company because AEW doesn't like fire people. You gotta do some shit to be fired by AEW. They just let your contract run out.
The last guy that got fired got into a fight. What did you do, Kevin? Who'd you fight?
Well, he got into a fight online, I guess. One-sided fight because he's just kind of fighting with himself.
Yeah. Shutdown Spurs sent us a super chat. By the way, sorry, I'm going to pull this off for a sec. Leave a thumbs up on the video because we're now 17 minutes in. We haven't done that. Point to the sign season is in full effect. So
not until the fireworks go.
Yeah,
off.
where are the fireworks? Come on. There we go. Point to the sign. So leave a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to us here at Fightful Overbooked. If you haven't already, what's wrong with you? Tell your friends about the show. We're better than Busted Open, but we also appreciate Busted Open. They blaze the trail for us to come through and be better than them. And of course, donate a super chat and email. Get your question statement around in the air. Chi-Town Spurs kicks us off saying, if Kevin Kelly going to spew some QAnon nonsense, he should join NXT. That's a lot of those people are gone, but I'm not going to tell you they're all gone. Also, you might be surprised to find out a lot more wrestlers and wrestling adjacent people have those views than you might think. That's all I'm going to say.
No comments. I'm going to shut the fuck up.
See, there you go. And Caden is going to move us along now. Okada ain't overpaid. Wrestlers are underpaid. I mean, I think
Okada is paid what was claimed to be paid.
Depends who you ask.
I hope Okada's getting $4 million. Honestly, I truly hope. Oh, IRS and Barry Windham are going into the Hall of Fame.
Okay, so there's your tag team.
Good on them.
Don't know why them, but okay. Where's Ming? Where's Haku? So I'm curious. Why don't you think that was the number as reported by Tokyo Sports?
Because it's a little. I don't think anybody is. I don't think anybody is getting that much. I'd love to be wrong. I really would, because I think wrestlers should get paid that much. $4 million a year. I have a hard time kind of believing that.
So Sean did update the select post.
Okay.
Tokyo Sports article claimed that the deal was for 3 years and roughly $4.5 million per year. We can confirm those numbers.
Really? Okay.
That was updated. He also sent out a tweet with that, because I know this morning Dave in the newsletter said,
yeah, he said no.
Nope.
Yeah.
So
I guess maybe that should have been an indication that it was correct.
There's some conflicting reporting, and again, oh, there you go. Nope, never mind. This is already stuff we talked about. But the thing with what's his face that we're talking about right now, Okada, and the number is it possible that everyone's getting work because it's Tokyo Sports? Sure, but do I also trust But I also trust that Sean asked multiple people, and we know this to be true. And if multiple people are going to run with that, then we can only take that as fact because multiple people are now telling us that's what the number is. So,
okay, so I didn't see the update on Select. I was just going based off of Tokyo Sports. And
yeah, and that's how I felt, by the way, when the Tokyo Sports article dropped. I said they roughly run in kayfabe. They're not 100%.
Yeah, but honestly, good. Like, I think that wrestlers should be making this much. You know, is it a overpay? I don't know. It's not my fucking money. This is how I feel about sports too. It's not my money. Pay these guys whatever you think they're worth. If you think Okada's worth $4 million, pay him $4 million. Now that this number is out, though, that's gonna cause some waves here because I don't know if Okada is one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time, right? Like, there's no doubt about that.
He's up there for sure.
Yeah. But it's also a money drawing business. Is Okada going to move houses? Is he going to bring ratings?
Well, he is literally going to move houses. Yes, he is going to move over from Japan over to the United States.
Like, is he going to bring ratings? You know, we'll see about this. We'll see if it can be pointed to here of how much he is drawing on that. And if it's shown that, like, hey, he's not worth $4 million, I'm the one drawing the house here. Jericho's about to ask for like $8 million on his next deal.
I didn't say it, but yes, he just signed a 5 years, so he's going to go back and be like, let's talk.
Well, shout out to Barry Bloom. Honestly, I imagine Will Ospreay got paid pretty handsomely as well. Like,
and that's
Barry
what's
Bloom
stranger.
getting these deals done, baby.
That's what's stranger is that you can make the argument that Will is on a more a steeper trajectory, a steeper ascent than Kazuchika Okada. And that's not a slight at Okada. It's just Okada's been on top longer. Therefore, Will is just, he's on the rise. So he could command more money given his rise compared to Okada, who's like top guy now. I'm not saying that he didn't get paid. I'm sure he did. But yeah, I just find it very interesting that these numbers are out.
I would probably, if it's a 3-year deal, which is what Tokyo Sports said, I don't know what Ospreay's deal is for. I imagine it's 3 or 5. That seems to be what like every deal is for nowadays.
Yeah.
I'd probably pay Ospreay more because he's more of a long term, I guess. But if it's all the same amount, I think Ospreay has kind of the higher ceiling on things, and part of that is that he can speak English and he can connect better to weekly television audience, where Okada, I love the way they introduced him, by the way. I think putting him with the Young Bucks is a great call. But Okada, historically, it's just tougher for foreign talent to be weekly television staples and draw and remain over. That's just what we've seen throughout the entirety of wrestling. And now, granted, a lot of that has to just do with how WWE has booked things, but there are other examples in other promotions as well, including AEW, and it's a short period of time in AEW, but it's also included.
So before we jump into presentation, because you said you liked how Okada was introduced, is there anything else money-wise or contract-wise you want to talk about? Because I do find it interesting, going back to the Ospreay-Okada comparison, there is literally a contract length between them in terms of age. There's 6 years between Okada and Ospreay. Ospreay's 30 and Okada's 36. They're both very much in their prime. They're both very much on their ascent. But like I said, the ascent for Ospreay is different. I also agree with you that when it does come to language, yeah, Ospreay, it's his native tongue. So one thing is going to be a little bit easier with connecting to a primarily American or English speaking crowd. But Okada does come with that cachet, that gravitas, that if you cement him as one of New Japan's biggest stars, which he was, then there is an opportunity to basically make him worth the money you paid him.
Well, there's always that. That's the thing with wrestling, is you can book them to be worth the money. It is not like real sports where you can pay a player $20 million, but then they might suck. And then it's like, oh, this isn't a $20 million player. This is a $10 million player all of a sudden. You can pay Okada $4 million and you can put the world title on him throughout the entire 3 years, and you can make it seem like he's worth the $4 million. Now, if he doesn't draw, obviously you want to change course on that, but you can always present him as a big deal to make him worth that money. You can do that with anybody. That's why I never understood fully the argument of like, oh, this person is only worth this much compared to this person. It's like, no, you can make this person worth this much. Maybe it won't connect, but when you're talking about the people who are in these positions, they're in this position for a reason. It's because they're already at the top of the card and they've already kind of earned their money, and you can continue to justify that money. It's also why you can justify not paying people a certain amount, because it's like, nah, we only see you at this level, so we're only going to pay you this much. And I think that's bullshit too.
So let's talk about presentation. I will say this. When Okada came out, I was excited for what they did. I was excited for him immediately aligning himself with the Bucks and being a heel figure. And I thought, okay, there's a lot of really good stuff out there. And then I kind of took a step back and I thought about it. And I said, presentation wise, and this is where we talk about business and drawing houses and things like that. A lot of people predominantly know Okada as the babyface who beats everybody in New Japan and was a big champion. And yes, he on the way out of New Japan, he was doing some heel stuff and working with Kiyomiya. I'm blanking on his last name from Noah.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
The guy that he stiffed on
that ruled
the third, and it did. Don't get me wrong. But if you have an audience that mostly knows Okada as like this kick-ass babyface world beater, I wonder why they didn't decide to present him that way. Maybe it was just like, we all want to change and that's fine. But if you're introducing him to a brand new territory, brand new group of people who only know him from that baseline, I was like, why wouldn't you strike while the iron's hot and let him be the guy? And then there's another side of the coin, and that is you have 3 big debuts in 3 weeks together. You've already debuted Will Ospreay as a number 1 babyface. You have Mercedes Mone allegedly coming in at Big Business next week, and she will most likely debut as a babyface. And then you have Okada in the middle, and you're just like, we can't have 3 big babyfaces revealed, but they're all very popular with the audience. So I ruminated on this, and I was like, is it good business to have Okada come in as a heel right away? Or should they have let him have a babyface run first, run through your normal territories until you get to Texas again, and then do a heel turn? I say Texas because it's Texas. That's where they do everything. So that's just kind of my feeling was it looked good. And then I thought about it and I was like, is this going to work well? Because your audience is going to want to cheer Okada at every turn. Even though the Bucks are doing some good heel work right now, it's still not like Don Callis heat where you just hate him.
Well, nobody has Don Callis heat unless you're going to pair him with Don Callis. They're going to cheer good wrestlers. Okada's still probably going to get cheered. You can't, I don't say this in a negative way, you can't book based on just the audience cheering, because they're going to cheer. Look at Swerve. Swerve should be a heel. He wants to, again, the man is torturing Hangman Page.
And he was a heel for all intents.
He was, but then he was such a good wrestler that he became a babyface, and so they did the double turn. I think that was the correct call and everything. Yeah, Okada's going to get cheered coming in. People want to cheer him, but this is the way to basically stop that. Like you can't, or this is the way to do it, is you put him with heels. You put him with the elite who are complete dickheads, and you have him go after Eddie Kingston, who is beloved. That's the way you can get Okada booed when people want to cheer him. They're still going to cheer him because they love Osprey or they love Okada, and it's just cool to see him and everything. But you do enough heel stuff with him, and you hope that the crowd will begin to boo him in that way that he should be booed. If they're going to cheer him, then they're going to cheer him. There's not much you can do about that. I see what you're saying of like, well, just book him as a babyface and let him be cheered and stuff.
For a short time, by the way. For a short time. I'm not saying, do 2 years of him on top as a babyface Rainmaker. It's more like, well, you brought him in. Do your victory lap because this was a big signing and he's known as a big New Japan star. Let him have that and then turn him, and it maybe becomes a more effective heel turn at that point. Not going to say like Hogan NWO, but it will be a little more effective than first night coming in and doing something you haven't really ever done with him in recent memory.
Well, I think that's why it works, is because it hasn't been something they've done. Is they went with the immediate kind of heel turn instead of, I guess Adam Cole was a little bit like that. He came in aligned with the Elite, and then you of course debuted Danielson right after that. I like the presentation because Okada, we know, is a great wrestler. He could just be a great wrestler, have great matches, and that's your weekly television character, right? That's kind of what Osprey is. Osprey has a little bit more depth to it because he can speak. He speaks the language, and he's got the stuff going on with Callis. I think Okada coming in and being a heel, like the Bucks can now be little shitheads behind him. And I think that's a good weekly television character instead of just really cool wrestler who has really cool matches. And it's like, hey, here's Okada. Because I was wondering what the weekly presentation of him would be like. AEW's got a lot of cool wrestlers. Like their whole roster is cool wrestlers. There's got to be something beyond that. And you can do stuff with Okada beyond that as a babyface. He can be like an in-boss kind of person, but then he's not wrestling weekly. And I'm sure he probably wants to wrestle weekly. I think there could have been too much overlap between him and Osprey of just like, go out there, have a great match every single week. And like, that's fine, but like, that's a lot of the roster. That's partially what Will Ospreay brings to the table. Now you're doing something a little different with Okada. Now you're making him a heel. Now you're doing trios matches. Maybe he doesn't wrestle as many singles matches. He just kind of does the trio stuff with the Young Bucks. And then you're setting up stuff with Kenny whenever he gets back. You're potentially setting up stuff with Hangman. I think there's just more to do as a heel. And now maybe we're getting Okada and Kingston at Supercard.
I don't think we're gonna get that.
I don't know.
I just don't think it's the Supercard match. I think it's more likely to be as early as Big Business on Wednesday.
No, I mean, do we want a spoiler?
You sure? Yeah, why not? Oh wait, hold on. Do you guys hold on? Do you guys crowd? Do you mind? Is this coming out of Maybe do it at Dynasty instead, type of thing. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Dynasty. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what they're doing. What the fuck are they doing for Supercard then? Who's Eddie facing at Supercard?
Ethan Page.
Is he? Is that the match?
I mean, they're about to do an entire run through Canada. So if there's ever a time to get Ethan Page heated up, it's going to be the crowds at home getting into him. I don't know. I'm also biased to Ethan Page because I am Canadian and I watched Ethan Page on his ascent locally. So I have I have an affinity for him and his work, but I don't know. People are saying Ethan will face Kyle Fletcher. That's also true. He's been wanting the TV title match. I don't know. But Tony Khan said that Eddie's going to defend the title at Supercard. It could be a New Japan talent because he still holds a New Japan Strong Championship along with
Kid, baby.
Let's go, Gabe Kid. It's going to be Jack Perry. Acid Torture versus Eddie Kingston.
People got mad at me
over.
Oh, let's circle back to that. All right, here's a spoiler, by the way, for Big Business. Mute if you here. I'll leave my finger up, and when my finger goes down, the spoiler is over. All right, spoiler for Big Business. It's the Elite, Okada, Young Bucks against Eddie, Penta, and Pac. That's the spoiler for Big Business.
Right, I did know that actually. I'd forgotten about this. Okay, spoiler done. We have done it. We have spoiled everything for you. This is going back to Okada and presentation. Again, the things that you say, I am largely in agreement with. I did just want to put it out there that I felt sitting back like it was a little strange that they decided to go that way. And it wasn't a bad thing. I think it's going to be very interesting in the long run. And I also think that in a certain way, I don't say this is a negative thing that their backs were up against the wall because it wasn't that. I think it was more they realized that they were doing a big run of returns and a big run of debuts, and they kind of needed to fill out each side of the depth charts, and Okada was like the one wild card. I think that was the right guy to do it with in the overall side of things. And then the money came out. I'm just like, oh, he's got to positively affect gates and houses and things like that. Because going back to the contract conversation, if you know how much someone is making in pro sports, for example, the expectation is that person is also performing. And in the world of wrestling, where it's an individual sport but an ensemble cast, that one person needs to be the one who's also pushing those tickets out the door. And Okada now almost has a little bit more oomph to have to do that to justify his value. And I'm not saying it's not justified what he's getting paid, but now that it's out there, the scrutiny might be a little tougher on a guy like him, even though he's not much of an online guy to bear the brunt of that bullshit anyway.
Yeah, Okada's not paying attention to anything.
Could you imagine? You know who also isn't? Kenny Omega. I love that they're just like, Kenny Omega, you're out of the elites. You're done. We hate you. Young Bucks kick him out. And Kenny Omega also famously doesn't watch the program. So
he reacted.
Well, no, but in canon, it was always the joke was on BTE that he doesn't watch the product.
Right.
He doesn't go. So now I was hoping that they were going to come back and do something silly. Like he comes back and he's like, what'd I miss?
Well, so Omega's on Twitch now, by the way. He started a Twitch channel last night. He gave a pretty big update on like how he's feeling and everything. He's being very honest of he doesn't really know when he's going to be back. And I believe it. I think Omega is usually pretty transparent with this stuff. I know a lot of times wrestlers are working and all this stuff, but like I think Omega is pretty transparent with this. Who knows? Maybe he'll be back in business too and things are fine. Like I truly hope that for everyone's sake, that means like he's in good health and he's ready to return. But he didn't really have a timetable on when he was going to return. He said that, like, you know, it's an injury you kind of know. Like, oh, okay, back injury, typical recovery, 6 months. Torn ACL, typical recovery, 9 months. You know how to rehab that. Diverticulitis, internal, like, sickness like that, a little bit different, right? Like, you don't know how that's going to work. He mentioned that he underwent some emergency treatment recently. He didn't know that how bad it was initially when he had to go into the hospital and they told him like, yeah, if you came to us like 24 hours later, there was a chance you could have died. And he's like, huh? What? So I don't know when he's gonna be back. Yeah, Jeff Elliott Driver saying he doesn't know if he's gonna need surgery. Yeah, he doesn't seem like he knows a few things here, and I'd like to believe he's being transparent about this.
Yeah, that's the thing is whether, and then again, this is in the world of make believe pro wrestling and kayfabe, and Kenny is a very private person, yes, but you know he tries to be honest where he needs to be. He could also show up tomorrow, and that's not tomorrow, but you know what I mean. He could show up at the next episode of TV and be like, "I'm back," and that's it. You know, at that point, great. As long as his health is okay, that's really what it comes down to. But if he's being serious and he's transparent, he's like, "I don't know what's going on, and I could be out for foreseeable future or forever," then okay, that's another situation.
Well, the Hurricanes got Evgeny Kuznetsov. I don't know if he's any good still, but that's a trade.
Did the Sens win last night?
I don't know. So when it comes to Kenny, the Redmond Survivor says it is
they lost in overtime. Sorry.
Redmond Survivor said he sounded genuine. Yeah, I'd like to believe that he was genuine as well. I'd like to believe that as well. He did sound very genuine. He sounded like he was just kind of talking from the heart with everything. Again, these are wrestlers. This is one thing I don't like about wrestling besides everything is like we're always just gonna assume they're working, brother. And so it's very tough to believe people when it comes to that because you just think like, he's not being real about this. He's just he's lying, so the surprise is bigger. And then like sometimes these people are like actually being truthful about where they're at in life, and it's not part of your television show. So I'd like to believe he was genuine. And if he is working, great. That means he's probably going to be back sooner. So that's also good. So, but I'm going to take what Kenny is saying at face value and that he doesn't know when he's going to be back. And, when he does come back, he's got ready-made stuff with the Elite, though. He's got a ready-made feud with Okada. I would assume they're doing or they're going to try to do, apologies, everyone, Okada Omega at All In. I assume that's the big setup, is they can do All In. I would hope Kenny is back by All In. If Kenny's not back by All In, we got real concerns. We got real concerns then.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I think the funny little takeaway from all this is that everything about this is good only because, like, again, I don't want to be misunderstood here. You either have Kenny working people and saying, I don't know when I'll be back, and then he comes back, which means he's healthy, which is great. Or Kenny is being transparent and saying, I don't know when I'm going to be back. And people are going to be like, okay, we trust you. We hope you're going to be okay. This is the fun of the wrestling world. So we'll see where it all plays out with Kenny. Either way, I really wanted him to be like coming back into Dynamite. Someone's like, hey, you're out of the Elite. And him being like, huh? No, I'm not. Play the footage. And then we're back to it.
We never, man, when I think of like Kenny's career in AEW, it's been good. Like his world title run, it sucks that most of it, a good chunk of it, was like during the pandemic and everything. We never got payoffs to stuff that really should have. We were hoping to get payoffs to. The stuff with Cole never really got solved. We don't have a second match with Danielson. Obviously, the Punk stuff is not happening.
Not in AEW, at least.
Yeah, the Hangman and Kenny never, like, they did their match, but there was still more to that. And hopefully with this, hopefully Kenny's back and he's good. And you can basically circle back around to all of that with heel Young Bucks, Hangman coming back, Okada now in the fold. Like, you can hopefully get back to that portion of it. The Adam Cole stuff, I don't know. I have no idea with Adam Cole if they're going to circle back to any of that with Omega, because Cole is now off doing this kind of stuff. Danielson, I would hope, I know Danielson's wrapping up full time here. I would like to think Danielson's last full-time match is against Omega, because that was his first match in AEW. It went to the time limit draw. So Danielson's last match in his AEW career should be against Omega. And Omega should do the right fucking thing and not kick out and lose to Bryan Danielson.
No, that's the one time where Tony's going to put his foot down and say, absolutely not, Bryan must win. That's the one time. Every other time it's been Bryan saying it. This time it'll be Tony being like, nope, you're winning.
Do what's right for business, Kenny Omega. Do what's right for business, Will Ospreay. I'm a little irritated that we're getting Danielson and Ospreay.
Well, let's talk about that in a second. But I do want to say that the champions, this has kind of been an ongoing thing that I hope AEW starts to move away from, or at least has better luck with. A lot of champions limping to the finish line of their title reigns. And that's why we don't get some closure on some of these things. It happened to MJF. It happened to champions before him. It happened to Kenny. It's basically every time that there has been an AEW champion, they run so hard until they are injured and cannot continue after dropping their title. They're written off and that's it. It happened to Punk, of course, when he won the title, had to vacate. It's very frustrating for AEW, and it's been an ongoing issue. And I hope that it's something that they are able to course correct, because you want to see the champions finish out their story and not just drop title and have to go away for several months to have surgery because they're so banged up. This is kind of the ongoing conversation that you and I kind of have about how you work. Do you work once a week or twice a week? Or do you go work the indies as well? in WWE world, you're working frequently. You're not only working TV, but you're working a weekend house show as well. Most of the time, you're keeping fresh. You're getting the reps. You're keeping it going, and I think that's something that's worth that I hope more wrestlers kind of take advantage of when it comes to staying fresh and dealing with injury issues, because that's a big deal.
I'm with you, Joel. You know why I'm with you?
Why?
Roman Reigns has got this shit figured out.
He does show up, say shit. That's it. He's out. And
Roman
then
Reigns
and all you need
figured out.
And all he's got to do, walk and brawl. Most of that match, he's just talking to the camera. You ain't me. I'm better than you. You're not shit.
People are popping for the mug here. There you go. Some Nicktoons. My lovely wife got this mug for me. I believe this is a Christmas gift a couple years ago.
You showed it off. You showed it off once.
I've showed it off before, but maybe people have not always seen it. And she just brought me some tea for my voice. So,
are you insinuating that this
shout
show
out to the
had
wife.
growth? Are we a growing product?
No, I'm insinuating that our audience is very forgetful.
They are wrestling fans. By the way, donate a super chat. Any amount, get your question or statement right on the air. End of Dynamite. Danielson comes out. We have it's not even a face-off. It's just the walkthrough. And it's looking like Danielson versus Osprey. Well, it's not looking like. It's almost certainly going to happen.
It is. It's happening.
It's going to happen.
They're not going to tease this and then not.
Could you imagine if they honey dick you on this one? Don Callis is going to make Bryan Danielson face every member of the family until we get to that match. I don't hate that they're doing this. I think that you can have Osprey have these incredible matches because that is what he's coming in to do. But they also, I think, will have to pull back a little bit as well on what he's doing, on what Osprey is doing. That's to say, he had a great match at Revolution, had a great match on Dynamite. I don't particularly want to see just Will Ospreay having banger matches every single week. I want, but my point being is I want to see him also develop with his character and with his promo and with the things that he didn't get to do as much in New Japan, because New Japan didn't do in-ring promos nearly as much. It's not part of the narrative of storytelling in Japanese pro wrestling. Whereas here in the United States or in Canada and North America, the presentation involves the in-ring telling of the story. And I want Will Ospreay to keep doing that. And once in a while have a promo where he is just doing that. Maybe a little physicality, but not necessarily just then having a 5-star match. As much as I like it, eventually you don't want to, be stuck there.
I don't want this match. Because
Ospreay is going to win?
Yeah. Will Ospreay needs to do what's best for business, and he needs to not kick out, or he needs to tap out. I'm tired of these wrestlers thinking that they know better than Bryan Danielson, who should be winning all of these matches. It's annoying to me. They need to lose. Bryan Danielson needs to win these big matches. I don't give a shit about your 5-star matches. Bump that. I want Bryan Danielson's victories. That's what I want. Care how good the match is. I want Bryan Danielson to win and be the champion and blow up the moon. That's what I'm here for. Will Ospreay, do what's best for business. Don't kick out. Tap out. I don't care if you're told. Hey, you're going over in this match. What do they need to fire you? They're going to fire you.
You just got paid a lot of money.
You think Tony Khan, if you go out there and you tap out or you don't kick out, you think you're going to go to the back and Tony Khan is going to be like, the hell was that? You're fired. No. Tony Khan's probably going to be like, justified 5-star match.
Bless J&A's. That's very funny.
Sting didn't face Bryan Danielson. So I'll give Sting a pass. But Sting, you know what? That actually makes the point for me. Sting was correct. Sting should not have lost. That was the correct call. Just like Danielson should not have lost. He should never lose. Sting understood. Yeah, I ain't fucking losing these dorks. These young bucks. Sorry, I like most of the AEW roster. I ain't losing to these guys. No. I'm going over, brother. That's the way you do business. That's what Bryan Danielson should be doing. Yeah, let me lose. It's fine. I'm having a great match. The crowd's still going to love me. I'm starting to not like you, Bryan Danielson.
That's what.
Stop losing.
Wow.
Stop it. Win. Put your foot down and say, I'm better than all of these dudes. I'm a better wrestler than every single one of these people on the roster. What was the Kenny Omega joke line? 90% of you shouldn't even be here right now. I'm better than 100% of you right now. I ain't losing to you. Not doing it. I'm winning tonight. You got an issue with that? Take it up with somebody else.
Jeff Valley Driver saying his daughter should have made him promise to win a title instead of retiring. It's true. It's true. It's not too late, Birdie. Tell Daddy you should win a match and then you can retire.
Beat somebody, Bryan Danielson.
Maybe on Saturday he'll beat somebody.
He will. He's beating Shane Taylor. I don't think that's not a spoiler, anybody. You look at that matchup, Bryan Danielson ain't losing that match.
Maybe Shane Taylor was finally going to win the big one. What are we doing? It's Bryan Danielson.
No, he's not winning that match. But he's going to lose to Osprey, and that's annoying. It'll be a great match, though. People go crazy. Oh, 7 stars.
What if the story becomes that is when Don Callis and the family finally split from Osprey? Is because Danielson wins by them screwing Osprey.
Sure. I don't care. As
long as he wins?
Win.
Okay.
He should tap out Will Ospreay, and then Don Callis can be really disappointed in Osprey and then kick him out of the family. Fine. Good.
He says, son,
Bryan Danielson should beat the shit out of Don Callis after that. And then he should tap out Takeshka, and he should tap out Cage, and he should tap out, I don't think he's in the family, should tap out Powerhouse Hobbs. Who else is in this group? Kyle Fletcher, tap him out as well.
A returning Mark Davis comes in. Tap
Sure. Tap him out. Tap out all these dudes. Losing Bryan Danielson.
Listen, you have problems with Bryan Danielson not winning. You have problems with Bryan Danielson not winning. I got problems with this full-on breaking of kayfabe. Dominic Mysterio gets married. Congratulations to him. Very proud of him. However, they posted the mother and son dance. He made up with his mom. B&E'd all over the place. And now Dominic Mysterio is dancing at his wedding with his mother. Very upset. Why wasn't this a jailhouse wedding? Where was Rhea? I'm sure she was there. Looks like a beautiful affair, though. They did it outside. It's very nice. Did you ever want an outdoor wedding, Jeremy?
Did I ever want an outdoor wedding?
Yeah, I did attend your most recent one. Spoiler alert, it was not outdoors.
No, we took photos outside.
I think most people do.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I want whatever, if the wife wanted an outdoor wedding, we would have done an outdoor wedding.
You know that my wife and I were originally going to do an outdoor wedding in February of 2020? Yeah.
I don't feel like you can do like a good outdoor wedding like in Ohio in the fall though. Like that was it's probably not going to go well.
I mean, we ended up doing September of 2019 instead. We pushed it back a few months and did it outdoors. So I get it. Yeah, like I just got a message from the ITW anonymous general manager saying, I'm not gambling on outdoors in Ohio ever. It's like,
yeah,
I get it. I do. And that was the gamble that we took in Toronto, was whether or not we could actually do an outdoor wedding on September 9th, 2019. 9/9? But yeah, that's what we did. We were going to do an outdoor wedding. We were looking at all the venues, and all the venues looked at us like we were crazy. And we said, no, we got a plan. And they're like, well, we don't have heaters. And I said, well, I guess we don't have your plan. And then we would find a new place to go. But Dominic Mysterio got married outside because he's Dominic Mysterio.
Good for him. As someone who loves. But I appreciate
who would do that?
I appreciate Dominic Mysterio and getting married.
So this is a good point. Outdoor weddings in Canada are risky. Yes, they are. What we did, we actually booked a backup venue. We booked one of the city, not city hall, but one of the Toronto public buildings has a room where you could do it. So we had a backup venue. It's $50. It was $50 that we lost compared to everything else. Yeah, it was a nice day. We had a very nice wedding. I hope Dominic Mysterio and his high school sweetheart also had a very nice evening. I'm sure
he didn't marry Rhea.
No, I think Rhea's a little busy with another Australian.
Wow, kayfabe dead.
Yeah, I mean, he danced with his mother. Who would do that?
I mean, that's fine. You can like forgive those things at like a wedding, but like just not marrying Rhea. That's, I don't know. Is he gonna get punished for that?
Maybe a spanking, but he's probably into that.
Okay.
I'm just putting it out there. You know.
You think so? Do you think Dominic Mysterio's into that?
Yeah. There was no
Ray whooped his ass with that belt. He didn't seem to enjoy that.
No, he didn't. That's because he treated him like a child.
He didn't seem to enjoy that at all.
Well, Gunter gave him a good slapping on Monday Night Raw, and he seemed to get by on that.
I don't know about
that. He didn't win, but he at least
enjoyed that
won.
either.
Well, no. Anyway, yeah, someone talking about the humidity and the heat. We got married down by the water at the Toronto Music Garden. Go check that out. It's a free park that you can check out. We had to pay for a permit, but that's something I always recommend. Is if you have the ability to do an outdoor wedding, do an outdoor wedding at a public park, 25 people, you're good to go. Good stuff. So what now?
Yeah, this is what I was referencing. Senior Nerd is WWE with when they announced their engagement and everything.
Well, the guy who took offense to that is gone, so we don't have to worry so much.
They're all gone, aren't they?
Yes, that is also but the person who actually had a problem with it is gone. And then he got engaged is also like, I hate my current job, but I'll never say so unless it's in a passive aggressive tweet to my boss.
Right. But like technically they're all out of there. So
bury me softly, brother.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Well, not the one, fuck them.
The one. Anyway, WrestleVotes just tweeted out, according to sources, the much anticipated return of The Rock concerts could light up next week's SmackDown live from Memphis, Tennessee, which makes sense. I'm told this idea has been brewing for weeks with a possible announcement of it tonight on SmackDown. I am all for this. Do you think the Roman Reigns aspect, do you think Roman's going to pick up a bass guitar or pick up a maraca and sing along with The Rock?
Nah, it's got to be Rock by himself.
No, it's got to be solo singing debut.
Nah, just Rock going out there by himself, calling Seth a clown, saying the Cody crybabies, the crackheads and the meth heads in Memphis.
Just Rock riffing on an E minor chord like he did back in 2000.
Yeah, just the same chord. The one chord he knows how to play.
Willie Nelson's guitar, the whole nine again. He's gonna pull that shit out.
It would actually be fantastic if it was the Rock and the Bloodline Band. Is that what they would call them?
Yes, it's like the E Street Band.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, Heyman's out there with the triangle or some shit.
Oh, that's right. He's got the cowbell.
Yeah.
I just think there should be more cowbell.
I can't see Roman like in a segment like that. That's weird of how Roman would fit in. The Roman on drums, like
the band line. That's good stuff.
That'd be great. But no, I don't think that we're gonna see the rest of them. It'd be very weird if if to see them out there. It'd be very weird. I can't picture those guys in that setting. Rock, I can obviously. Rock is Rock,
Who else is here? Oh no. Must be Friday.
Sean.
Good morning, Sean.
How are you?
Haven't done my hair.
You look great.
Kofi's in the background. My cat. He's wonderful. Will you guys support me?
The support has a in what?
I have a new goal,
Oh boy. Okay.
which it feels like a goal that Tommy Dreamer has already aimed for.
That you're trying to
So what you're saying?
hold on.
Whoa, buddy. Whoa, buddy. Go on now.
Aim low, sweet chariot.
I just want to enter every battle royal until I win one.
Okay. Good luck.
Yeah. Somebody says Sean Lee went home and smoked some more crack. I did. So my hair's not done. I got a little scar on my cheek now because not that one. Another one decided to save his footing on my face. Sucked.
Yeah, that's not great.
But this goal, I think it's a fair goal. Like I could win some shindy battle royal.
You just want to enter it. You don't want to win it.
No. I want to win the
No,
whole.
he's been saying
Okay.
he wants a title shot against
I've
whoever.
already entered one of them, the GCW one, but
All right, you want to win.
How'd that one go?
Sean looks like he saw an NWA taping. Would you put over Bryan Danielson? No, but he would demand that he puts me over, probably.
That's the problem we
Bullshit.
face here.
Yeah, he needs to win.
He does need to win.
He needs to stop. He needs to put his foot down and be like, I'm better than you dorks. I'm winning tonight. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when he first showed up in AEW, he's like, I don't want to put anybody over. I want to beat everybody.
Yeah. Needs to go back to that.
I agree.
His
He's like,
daughter.
oh, CM Punk wants to work with the young guys. That's great. I'm here to kick some heads in. Yeah, get back.
Yeah, while
Get
he
back to kicking
can.
heads in.
Because, I mean, the thing is, like, okay, so we're building to this September date of what? Him still wrestling? Because he's still going to wrestle. Like, he says, like, how many times a year?
He said at least like 3 or 4. Pretty sure.
At least 3 or 4. He'll wrestle 6 to 8.
He needs to win all those matches too.
That's fair.
Yeah. He
WWE,
should.
WWE just announced they have 100 million subscribers on YouTube. You know how you get that the play buttons?
Mhm.
What's theirs going to be? Is it going to be
the 1 million? It's a gold.
No, they're 100 million.
Oh, 100. Who is?
WWE just surpassed 100 million subscribers.
Did we put that in the chat, Jeremy?
They were. I did a story. The digital people did an interview, but yeah, I don't think we've put that in the chat. Probably should.
Well, there you go.
Well, it's out there now. Regardless, what is the 100 million subscriber play button going to be? Is it going to be a WWE World Championship, but with the YouTube logo?
I think it is. Actually, I don't want to say. You
don't want to give them ideas?
Can't say. Can't do it. But I did just get a good email from Sting's son.
Which one?
Yeah, I feel like we all are.
Okay. All right. I've been in communication with
Garrett.
Surfer son.
Great.
Yeah.
I have dibs on the one that went to UK. Okay.
Oh,
No, that's easy.
fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Surfer son on this show hopefully pretty soon.
Oh yeah, we got a big press release like 5 minutes ago about this 100 million gimmick.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah, you get the red diamond play button normally. That's what Mr. Beast got for 100 million. But you can now make requests. I think Mr. Beast got like a ridiculous like Mr. Beast logo head as his 200 millionth because YouTube was like, no one's ever done this before.
That is so hilarious. It goes, WWE surpasses 100 million subscriber mark on YouTube. And the header underneath it is, the return of The Rock accelerates WWE's growth on the platform. What about the 99.8 million that happened during the entire time he was barely around?
Well, you got to understand.
Wrestling sucked then.
Well,
Rock said it himself.
Yeah, the social blade metrics went from this to Rock comes back, and that was it.
Must have been.
It's okay. I'm sure The Rock will make reference of it on the Rock concert next week in Memphis.
Yeah. Well, it was good to see you guys. I'm going to have my shells and tuna now.
Okay. Interesting.
Get a little cream of mushroom soup in there too, and it's even better. He's gone.
All right, so Sean brought this up about
Battle Royals.
Wolfpack's son.
Oh. red paint sting.
Yeah, Wolfpack's son. So Surfer's son. We've reached out to him to be on this show, and I was about to talk about it earlier, and then we got sidetracked as usual with like Kevin Kelly and everything. Then we actually talked wrestling. That was stupid. So Surfer's son. We want to get him on the show, but he's we're not sure it's going to be live.
Oh, that's when you freeze. That's great. As I'm itching my eye, that's when you want to, and you leave people going. Okay, now you're back.
Good. All right. So we want to get Surfer's son on the show. We're not sure it's going to be live though. I put this in the Weeds Discord. Everyone go to the Fightful Discord if you're into that. About doing like pre-tape interviews and running them on this show. I wanted to know people's thoughts on that. Surfer son would be one that we would be doing. We would potentially do others. It's not something we fully like. We want to make a habit out of. One, we do that on Spotlight. Every interview is pre-recorded there. So we already do that on Spotlight. And two, the beauty of our show is it is live. We do live interviews. It's unique. Most of these channels, they pre-record the interview and then they release it later. We have the ability.
Gets angry at them and tells them don't do that.
So like we like having the unique aspect of doing live, but of course not everyone has availability during our live time, or not everybody wants to do a live interview, and we got to respect that as well. So I think when if the opportunity is right and it presents itself, we will probably do some pre-tape interviews. I don't want to make it a habit, but I do think that if it's a good chance for us, if it's an interview we want to do as well, if it's not, if it's something that like it doesn't work for this person, it's like, all right, like we watch on the show, but we can take or leave kind of thing. Then we'll figure something out. But if it's somebody we really want to talk to and it just doesn't work live wise, then we'll probably pre-record it. So that's probably what we'll do with the Surfer Sting, son of Surfer Sting, and hopefully we'll nail down time and we will get that on the show. Am I?
Now you are, yes. Literally, the moment you asked if you were frozen was when you froze.
All right.
Now
you're good.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see how long this lasts. Hopefully we'll nail it down on time and get Son of Surfer Sting in a interview that will air at some point on one of the shows. So there you go, everybody.
Yeah, when they basically when he said, "Hey, it's me," I was like, "Oh, we have to have him on the show now." Now that he's outed himself as like this fairly popular Destiny 2 not streamer but like video creator, I'm like, we don't even have to talk about like I'm sure we're gonna ask him about certain things when it comes to being a part of that match at Revolution, but like he also does some pretty cool content of his own that was unexpected to find out about. So it was a conversation that I was very interested in having, and I know Jeremy had said, I'm going to reach out to him anyway, and here we are. If we get to do that interview, we will most likely pre-record it. And some people in the chat were mentioning, we're surprised that wrestlers are up when you guys do your show. And to be honest, we said that as well, but then we kind of came to the realization that some of these wrestlers are already doing local media, and they're appearing on morning shows and other like afternoon talk shows. So this worked out in terms of timing for our show, and for them, they could do it from their beds, they could do it from wherever, from the gym. We've literally had all of these things happen. It's just logging on and having a 15-minute conversation with us. It doesn't really like ruin their timing of their day, because we try to be pretty accessible and pretty understanding of scheduling. So this is one time where we have a request and it's someone that we want to talk to and the opportunity is there. We just have to pre-record it. That's fine with me. That makes me okay. But when we did Kushida, I was actually a little bit surprised that we were asked to do it live and not do it pre-recorded and throw it up. I think TNA just kind of understood our show is live and we try not to do pre-recorded interviews if we can help it. But we've also done enough with TNA talent that they're kind of like, they do it live, they do it well. We can trust them most of the time to do the interview and not get in trouble for it.
I fucked that up.
That's fine. What are they going to do? Not let me go to Windsor?
Now, we like the live aspect. We like doing the live interviews, but if there's an opportunity to do a pre-record and it's somebody we really want to talk to, we will do a pre-record. So, we appreciate everyone understanding that. Now let's talk about the real things on here.
Yes.
Would you guys hold on? What is Weisel, would you guys do a tape review interview as a stand away from the live show? Potentially. So we did kind of talk about that as well. Like if we need to put it out there a little quicker, but I think for the most part, we're going to try to record the interviews on like a Tuesday or a Thursday, and then the interview can run on the Wednesday or Friday episode. So it's not like you'd have to wait long for it.
Right. And that'd be fine with me. Again, it just comes down to timing and scheduling. Hi, Kate. What are you doing here?
You told me to get back here. You were like, hey, we need you on stream right now. And I said, what? And you said, for an unpaid appearance. And I said, why? You said,
Exactly, no pop.
You said, it's International Women's Day. We want to appreciate you. So here I am. Appreciate me. What?
Sorry, what day is it?
International Women's Day?
Joel hates women.
I do know that.
Yeah.
So
That's why I'm a little perplexed as to why she's here.
I got a DM that said, get back here. We need you. We need it to look good for the people. And so here I am being a team player on International Women's Day.
Who sent this? Who sent that DM?
You did, Joel.
I'm gonna check. Maybe.
Oh wait, was it Joe Gacy?
Might have been
Joe Gacy.
Joe was very complimentary towards women yesterday.
It's a nice fella, that Joe.
Yeah, no, he is. I think he's wonderful. I don't think it was me, but happy. What was it again?
It was International Women's Day, but
I'm not gonna lie, that seems entirely made up.
Aren't all these holidays entirely made up?
It's true.
Per usual, making 0 cents to the dollar here. So
happy. Okay. Hold on. Okay. All right. Bit over. before the real haters come out. Yes, it's International Women's Day. It would have felt weird not including at least one member of our staff who identifies female on this.
I didn't know any of this was happening. By the way,
that's the best part about doing this. It's International Women's Day today, and of course, Kate is someone who puts a spotlight on a lot of women's wrestling, and I wanted to at least have a moment to say hi, and we appreciate you. And also, like, I'm gonna put you on the spot, and you're gonna name a woman. Just name a woman.
Oh God!
So any woman?
Bull Nakano, I guess. I don't know.
You're a dollar. You're a dollar. Name a woman.
You know what, Joel? You name a woman. How about that?
Bull Nakano.
Damn it. I laid the groundwork.
I was too busy getting chicken tenders to name a woman. Sorry.
No, I get it. That's the way to be, actually. I miss them. I miss chicken tenders. But no, I appreciate I try to be as vocal about it online as I can, because I know there's a whole bunch of bullshit the other way, but there's so many like challenges and weird stuff in this space. Being a gal, there's a lot of times where I'll say the exact same things that my male peers are saying, and I just get a million more times the flack for it. And there's all these like rough things about being here, but I've had people DM me to be like, what's your experience at Fightful? And I'm like, really fucking good, to be honest. So sorry for whatever dirt you were seeking out, but there are, like, when I do things like 400 podcasts in a year or wrestling commentary, I'm always thinking about Denise, for one, because I feel like of anybody in this particular space, she's just broken so many barriers down. I think of Renee Paquette all the time, for just like the way that she not only has broken through things for women in the space, but the way that she conducts herself too, I think is just an incredible example. But I also am very thankful for my male peers. And I know International Women's Day isn't about being thankful for your male peers, but one reason that I do work here is because our podcast hosts are a gender split of men to women, which I think is awesome. I think I actually upset that balance when I brought in Alex Cardoza. So I'm setting us back, but the way that editorial team handles things like we've been having to deal with earlier in the year, I know Jeremy especially is wildly sensitive to things. It's important to me because I don't care enough about doing wrestling podcasts to work in a space and an environment that doesn't respect that. So I'm very thankful to be here on Fightful on International Women's Day. And also I've worked in male dominated industries my entire life. I worked in metal music, which Joel can attest to, the rock and metal scene, wildly male dominated. I worked in traditional sports. So I am kind of like used to that imbalance in a sense, but I truly, and whatever, people probably be weird about this, but like I've never been in a space that has made me feel as safe and protected as Fightful. So I'm super happy to be here. I try to be as vocal about it as I can because women can do a ton, but if men still hold the keys, there's not a lot that we can get done if we don't have the platform to do it. So I'm so thankful to be here, and I will continue to be a loudmouth, and I'm very thankful that no one's ever tried to deter me, and in some ways have encouraged that. So very thankful to be here, and very thankful that is changing. Like when I was at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view press scrum, I looked around and I was like, there's 7 women in here. And it wasn't like, that's a lot different than being 1 or 2 women in a press room. Like if you're in that situation. So, and even just things like having male peers ask me how they want to handle certain things or whatever, like the ultra awareness, I think is something that's really special and important. So, I'm very thankful that this International Women's Day looks different than the year before. It looks different than the year before, but I appreciate you guys in particular and being here on a day like today. So
I can tell you, I appreciate seeing a lot of women in the space be unapologetically them, 1, and 2, be so friggin' good at this to the point where I actively fear for my life as someone working in the space. because you're so friggin' good that I'm like, nah, you know what? You probably do this better than I ever could. And I think and you know what? I want to keep feeling that way. So I think people understand what I say when I say that.
Well, honestly, like part of it sucks, but like this has never been my experience at Fightful. It has been my experience literally everywhere else, is that you have to be better than most of your male peers to get anywhere. Like that's a huge aspect of it. But I'm very thankful to not have to feel like I had to extra earn anything here. But yeah, it's good. Like I think it's good when we have a bunch of women that all have very different views that are lighting fires under each other's asses and your asses and whatever. And even just looking at Fightful alone, like I'm so different than Cresta is so different than Denise. Like it's really refreshing to have not just like you're a woman. What are your thoughts? Like we have so much diversity within that here, and that's growing in the space too. Like I look at someone like Lyric and I'm so blown away by how sure she is in her voice at the age that she's at. I was not that quick at that age to know who I was. Kylie too, my God, like what an awesome example. But and also just I said it on Twitter and people are saying it in the chat too, like women who are not assigned female at birth, like this is your day too. It's not up to anybody else to determine your femininity or you're a woman after your surgery or any of that nonsense. Like if you're genderqueer and listening to this, or a trans woman and listening to this, just like nobody gets the right to determine your life experience, and certainly not first name bunch of numbers Roman Reigns Hangman Page avatar guy. So
I don't think the Hangman Page avatars are going as much as the other ones. But
no, that's true. Hangman Page is coming out like in his rainbow trunks and stuff. Never mind, or chaps. But you know what I mean. Like, it's always faceless cowards that are trying to pull that stuff. And what I'm thankful for here is that the cowards have faces, you know. And I work with cowards like Joel who are welcoming of everybody and are cowards in completely different ways. So.
Hey, man. However you identify, that's you, man. Just be that person. And listen, just to echo what you're saying, if you identify as a woman today, or do you identify as female, today's your day. Guess what? It's your day. No one's gonna take that away from you. So go enjoy it. Why not?
Hell yeah.
Get out.
Yeah. So
go outside, touch some grass, and do the whole thing. And then watch some wrestling tonight. Go watch The Rock basically say very questionable things about the gender later on.
Yeah. On International Women's Day, he'll be like, Seth Rollins, your wife is more of a man than you. Oh, never heard that before.
It's okay. 100 million subscribers on YouTube. Can't be wrong.
It's unbelievable how much they can be wrong, but
that is also true.
But I appreciate you guys, and as silly as me coming out here was initially, I do appreciate you guys and where I get to work, and the fact that it does feel like there's a ton of progress being made, not only in women in wrestling media, but in all of wrestling, I feel like. So appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you. Thank you for coming on and joining us. I know Rob and Maggie also have a show this afternoon, and I'm sure we'll do it all again, and we'll talk about it some more. Maggie's fantastic. Again, someone who's completely different from literally everyone else who's on this channel, and that's
truly,
yes.
Truly, like there are a lot of times in wrestling where this happened to me a lot on the cruise. That's why I'm laughing about this, was I had very specific things of like the Vince
cruise,
the Jericho cruise, like the right before I left was when all the Vince stuff happened, and there was so much like, you're a gal, what are your thoughts? And one thing that is very important is, like, in the same way of having different perspectives, is it leaves openness to everybody having different experiences, right? Because there's not one unified experience as a woman in the space. Thankfully, my experience is a lot different than a lot of other women in the space. So, but yeah, if you're a gal, keep kicking ass. Don't take shit from anybody, or just go get some chicken tenders. Bye.
Yeah, let's go.
Appreciate you, Kate. Thank you.
Happy International Women's Day to y'all. I did want to do that for a minute because I think it's very well worth it in this space. I said it just a minute ago. We have so many different women here, and they all deserve to be celebrated, especially on a day like today. And of course, to the people in our life who identify as female, who identify as women. It's your day, man. Go and have fun. Go enjoy it and be celebratory of who you are.
100%. We do work with a lot of great female colleagues. We are, happy and proud to have a lot of great female voices just on this channel. Joel, sometimes you do a show with Kate like once every 3 months.
6 months.
Maggie and Rob coexisting, which is the best show on this channel. That's been a staple of this channel since we started it. So we appreciate Maggie for being part of this channel since the very beginning of everything. Tag Talk, I always said Tag Talk was the best channel, the best show on this channel. Haley and Kylie. Haley's doing great things at Comic Book now. Kylie will be back on Sunday. I guess I can put that out there. I don't know. What are you laughing at?
So I point out what Sean doing.
Okay.
Sean's just no. Sorry. Go ahead.
Not good. All right. So Kylie will have a show again on Sunday with Auntie Collins. That'll be the new show on the channel. So there you go. I don't know what they're calling it. I don't even know what they're doing.
That's how much we trust their ability.
That's legitimately how much I trust Kylie. So when Tag Talk sadly ended, when we knew it was going to end because Haley was off to other ventures, the one thing I told Kylie was, you always have a place here if you want to do a show. And the same thing, I said the same thing to Haley. Like, if something goes wrong, if you want to come back here, you've always got a place here. If you want to do the show, I told Kylie, take your time, whatever you want to do. There's no rush. You're not going to lose your spot to anybody. Like, whatever you want to do, just let me know. And then Auntie Collins messaged me and was like, Jeremy, Kylie and I want to do a show. Like, do we need to put together like a pitch format? Do we need to explain what's going on with it? Like, what do we need to do to get a show? I said, tell Kylie to message me when she wants to do the show. And that's all the information I need. I don't really care what it's about. I assume it's going to be about wrestling, but I trust that Kylie knows what she's doing. Kylie has a good history with us. And so whenever she wants to do a show, she can do the show. And so they're going to be doing their show. I believe it starts on Sunday. So very happy to have them, or to have Kylie back on the channel, and Auntie Collins, who filled in for Haley on Tag Talk at least once. I think it might have been a couple more times, but very happy to have that show coming. It was cool to hang out with Haley and Kylie this past weekend as well at Revolution weekend. It's always cool to meet friends in the wrestling space, female or male friends in the wrestling space. But yeah, so that's going to be back this Sunday. Kylie will be back. I'm sure I'm forgetting about, I'm sorry. This is terrible of me. The great Cher Delaware, our pal Cher Delaware, who is a staple of FMC, which we certainly do not
we don't
cover wrestling.
Secrets. We don't talk about secrets on this channel.
Oh, we don't do that, but we don't cover wrestling on that show either, because who cares? Yeah, Cher Delaware, FMC would not be what it is without her getting to talk. Kidding. Wife just sent me a message. I can't repeat it. Getting to talk about Love is Blind and playing mobile games, that show would not be as much fun without her. So those are just people on this channel. I see people in the chat mentioning Denise. Yeah, Denise Salcedo.
They're mentioning a lot of different women and female identifying members of our community, and absolutely keep shouting them out, because those are people that you may not know, or maybe you do know, and they deserve it. So no, I see it and I appreciate it and I love it, and those people absolutely deserve it. And also, Shauna just sent out a tweet, pointing out Denise, Kate, Kylie, Maggie, Cresta. There are members of our staff who are not on air, who are contributors to the website. Stephanie Chase does the prediction shows. Iridian does the collision post show. Anna, who just came back and did work with us in Perth in Australia.
Hold on, we got to play. Hold on.
Your favorite, get it.
I am Anna from Fightful, and I'm here with superstar Becky Lynch. Hi, man. I love you.
Oh, thank you. I don't know you, but if we got to know each other, I think I could love you too. Maybe.
The greatest interview of all time. The absolute greatest.
Easily. Anyway, and of course you mentioned Cher, and Molly Bell is another one. There have been so many wonderful women who have been a part of this ride so far, and it continues to get bigger and better. So again, happy International Women's Day. Y'all rule, man. Like, and I say this tongue in cheek, but like it's very fun to me that like any given day I see women who are so friggin' good at this, and I'm immediately like, when I leave, they are going to take the job I'm doing and do it better than me. And I hope that day is going to be the right time. That's all I got to say about that.
I mean, I agree. I should probably get one of them to replace you, honestly.
The numbers might get better.
Probably would.
It's fair. There are so many wonderful people. So let's get back to where we were. Where were we? What were we talking about? We talking about the Bloodline Band.
The Bloodline Band, yes.
That's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. SmackDown tonight's going to be a fun one. I think it's going to be a 45-minute WrestleMania main event promo, and then the rest of the show happens.
Good. The whole show should be the promo. I don't care about the rest of the show.
Oh, Karrion Kross is a match. Karrion Kross's group
Who's
Shit.
what's the name of their group? He's the leader.
Ah,
The Kevin Kellys, the KKs.
Oh, the KKs. There you go.
Yeah, it's Karrion Kross, it's Kevin Kelly, it's Kelly, it's Killer Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kelly Kincaid from NXT.
Kelly Kincaid.
She's there. Yeah. Okay. That'll be a thing. Yeah. Anyway, he's gonna have a match tonight. Chris Cross gonna sing him to the ring.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's great. That's gonna be fun.
Chris Cross will make you jump.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're gonna have a good time. We'll actually talk about SmackDown a bit. You know what? Let's talk TNA Sacrifice tonight.
Wow.
That's a show that's happening tonight.
Sorry.
No, that's fair. So we are gonna do a post show on the channel. I get that it's SmackDown, and I get that literally we just talked about the main event of WrestleMania being in the ring together, and that's probably gonna be a long segment that gets a lot of people talking. But TNA has a show tonight. And I don't know if I have the clip. I'm pretty sure it's got to be somewhere, right? Like someone's got to have that thing somewhere.
Sacrifice!
Anyway, that's the show that's going on tonight, TNA Sacrifice. It's a pretty predictable card. But last night on the show, they did make one notable change that I think makes the show a little bit more fun. Grizzled Young Veterans are back in the fold. They're going to team with Mustafa Ali to take on the team of the Time Splitters or Time Machine or Time Jacket, Time Split Machine or Motor City Machine Guns and Kushida. I'm a big fan of that one. But otherwise, the show just looks like a fun TNA show that you will probably watch on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, it's happening. I don't know why they're doing a show 2 weeks after they just did a show.
They do this often.
I know. It feels like
every
other week. It feels like every other week they have a show. I'm like, you guys got to let stuff like breathe. Y'all ain't building stuff quite enough to where you can do a show every 2 weeks. It's on a Friday. Like I know Saturdays can be tough with Collision, but like Fridays are tougher with SmackDown to me. And Fridays are just kind of I mean, neither night is great. It's a weekend night, but neither's great. Like you'd probably be better off just running on a Sunday. They don't want to do that because they like tape the television on the Saturday. So I know why. I get
it.
Yeah, but still, man, like they just lose out on basically all the headlines because people are gonna pay more attention to SmackDown, especially now, especially during WrestleMania season. Rock's here. Everything. Yeah, I know UFC is tomorrow. Like there's competition on any night. You run Friday night, you're running against SmackDown. You run Saturday, you're running against Collision, potentially a UFC pay-per-view. Competitions every single night. You got basketball, you got hockey, you got reruns of Friends. I don't know, but like there's going to be something every single night. It's just in the combat sports place, you want to try to. This is why I actually kind of like that MLW sometimes runs these Thursday shows. It's like, well, you got a taped ROH, you got a taped Impact. You're the live show. So it's you might steal some headlines out of that. And sometimes they do because that's the most newsworthy show of the night is an MLW show compared to a taped Impact or a taped ROH.
So just looking at the matches for Sacrifice tonight, this isn't going to be a jump off the page. Big news is going to happen.
Sure, it'll be like fine wrestling.
Well, and that's it. That's what you're going to get. And I'm not trying to sour y'all on TNA because they do have a lot of really good matches, really good wrestlers. But looking at this card, it's like I said this to Cresta last night on the post show. What's one thing you can guarantee on every single TNA special? Do you know? One title will change hands.
Okay.
At least one. The only title that's going to change hands at Sacrifice is most likely the World Tag Team Championships.
Who are the champions?
ABC.
Who are they facing?
The System. They're facing Edwards and Myers.
Oh.
Moose is going to retain against Eric Young. Eric's at home, so it's going to be a nice home area pop for him. But like Eric Young's not winning the TNA World Championship. MK Ultra just won the Knockouts World Tag Team titles back from Decay at No Surrender. They're facing Danny Luna and Jody Threat. Again, Threat's going to get a great response because she's kind of home, 4 hours from home, but in her home area. They're not going to win. It's going to be MK Ultra retaining because they just did it. PCO and Khan is going to be a really fun match because it's a no disqualification match. Great. Jordan Grace is putting up her title against Tasha Steelz and Zaya Brookside in a triple threat, which like, okay, again, great match, but Steels and Brookside have been feuding since Brookside debuted in January, and it's been the undercard of the undercard. You don't have Giselle Shaw. You don't have a Deonna Purrazzo. I know she's gone, but my point is you don't have any mid-level women. You have Jordan Grace battling her, low card opponents. No offense, Tasha Steelz is a former Knockouts World Champion. She hasn't exactly been factored into main event plans. And then you've got the 6-man tag we just talked about. That's going to be fun. And then they added Alexander and Hammerstone. And the only build for that is, hey, they had a great match at Hard to Kill, so let's do it again. And that's great. Again, fun match. You got to give it some stakes. You have to assume that Hammerstone wins this one, but also Josh is on this tear where he's not losing since the rebrand. So if this is his first loss, then they have plans for Hammerstone, who they've signed, and they've announced that they've signed Hammerstone. So I don't know what they're going to do there. And then we talked about the TNA tag title match. Feels like the system's going to win because it's time for a bunch of babyface teams to finally get the opportunity to work main tag team title shows or tag team title showcases of the team, and that could be the system. And then Nemeth and Macklin, to me, that's the most interesting match on the card because these two have been kind of going for it for a bit, and it's going to be good. And it's two former WWE guys, Nick Nemeth on the ascent and Steve Macklin's contract coming towards a finish. We know who's going to win, but hopefully the match is going to be good and the story is going to be good. It's going to be a fine show, but it's not going to be like a blow out of the water amazing event.
Okay.
There you go. I just gave you 2.5 minutes on why you should watch our TNA Sacrifice post show live on Fightful Overbook tonight.
I was say, is that going to be on this channel?
Most likely, yes.
Okay.
Someone's asking.
I mean, that makes sense.
Someone's asking where Jonathan Gresham's at, buddy. If I could tell you, I would, but unfortunately, I can't. I think he's been wrapped up with the company ever since he walked out and said cheat to win, and then he did, and then he lost, and here we are.
It'll be a fine show. I'll watch it tomorrow. I'll actually probably have it on tonight, and I'll kind of go back and forth. I'm covering SmackDown. I think they hurt themselves by doing so many shows like this. I think the product would be better if they stuck to their big 4 pay-per-views. I know they got Impact Plus and they want to add value to that. And so that's a big reason why they do this. I think it'd be better if you just aired your big pay-per-views on Impact Plus. I don't know if it's worthwhile, what the fight numbers are. I think they're okay, but I don't know. I think it would be better if they just did 4 big pay-per-views that they build to instead of doing these specials as well and kind of watering them down with stuff like this. And I think you can get away with some of this stuff on television and building it and spread it out over weeks and do more big matches on television throughout the weeks instead of just doing these little Impact Plus specials that fly by the wayside. And instead you have your big 4 that you can really build to.
The specials are nice. The specials are nice to have. They are, but I do think that they're a victim of timing. And that's kind of the big issue. But, in terms of the value proposition, it's $5 a month and you're already getting the weekly TV. So it's an extra $4 a month on what you're already getting. So again, the value proposition makes sense. These shows are never blockbuster. It's more like, oh, it's a plus special. This will be fun.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm talking about the overall product. I think you almost hurt your own momentum when you do this, because look how we're talking about this, and this is how a lot of people are talking about it, Joel. Maybe we're wrong and we should be, let's all hype it up, but we're not TNA.
No, I don't. I am a guy who hypes up TNA stuff a lot, but this is the first time where I haven't gone to TNA and be like, hey, you want to send us someone to talk to? And honestly, that has nothing to do with the illusions we've made to TNA because we actually have a very good relationship with TNA and their management. We can get someone here on the show to talk about it, but there's just no reason.
I haven't seen really them do a ton of interviews at all this week.
That's because they're going to Windsor and no one wants to go to Windsor.
But I don't think that them doing these specials actually helps their momentum. I think it hurts it because so many people are just oh yeah, there's this TNA special. Don't really care. SmackDown's on with The Rock. I think they hurt their own momentum with that. And then it's like nobody goes out of their way to watch these shows. If you just do your weekly television, you build big matches there. And they got Thursday. I know it's not a live show, but Thursday is their night, right? Like ROH is taped, but ROH is even an hour beforehand. I know that show's like 5 hours long, but Thursday is their night. They can do a better job of being like, you want to tune in on Thursday. You're going to see this big match we've built with Moose and Eric Young. You want to see this big match we've built for the tag team titles, and we're going to do a tag team title change. I know it's taped, and I know that can hurt things a little bit. Collision was taped this past week. Still did great numbers. Like, there's no competition on Thursday either. There's the NBA on TNT, but there's no wrestling competition. There's always going to be sports competition. In football season, you got the Thursday night NFL game. But like there's no wrestling competition on a Thursday night. So you can make your television, your weekly television feel more important by doing some big matches and then building towards a big 4 pay-per-view. And then your big 4 pay-per-views feel big because it's like you only get one of these a quarter. And their big 4 always feels big. Always. Everyone's always excited for them. And everyone, every time they come out of those, it's like, oh, this is great. You know, what a great show. I'm going to watch TNA weekly now. And then it never really happens. But then I think they hurt their own momentum by doing these weekly specials. You just had one of these 2 weeks ago. And now you're doing another one. And it's like, who could possibly care? You're doing Moose and Eric Young with basically a 2-week build. We just had the Moose and Alex Shelley match and the No Surrender match. And now you're just doing this. You could have stretched out Moose and Alex Shelley and done that on a television show. And then you could have built up Moose and Eric Young for weeks down the line. Instead, you're doing it on 2 weeks. And I think you hurt your own momentum with this stuff because so many times when it's these specials, everyone, not just us, it's either not covered. We're talking about it way more than anybody else is, by the way. We're maybe not painting it in the best light, but at least they're getting talked about. But everyone just ignores it, or they're just like, maybe I'll watch it the next day, or they won't watch it at all. And it doesn't steal any headlines unless they do something big, but they never do anything that big on these shows.
I'm thinking about I think a lot of it comes down to like a scheduling issue, because it is the way that they schedule these events and these tapings that it could be done better. Because they don't have to. They don't have to do these specials. I know, but this is what I'm getting at is that I largely agree with you. They could scale back the monthly specials, because if you're going to do a quarterly pay-per-view, then maybe do an every other month special. So if you do Hard to Kill in January, you can do a one night only type of show in March, just to get you a little bit of something, stakes to run into Rebellion. Because then from Rebellion to the next pay-per-view, that is July. That's Slammiversary. So we're going April, May, June, July. So there in June, you can do something. You could do a one night only. And again, I'm just calling this one night only because that's what they used to call them. And then you go from July and you do August, September, October. October is Bound for Glory. I feel like I'm missing something in there. But either way, my point being is that like
Slammiversary?
No, Slammiversary is July. We got that one.
Okay.
And then it's Bound for Glory. And I think that's it.
Yeah,
but either way, like you don't need the No Surrenders, the Under Siege, you don't need those events because they're often not being done in a way that helps the product. And I agree with that. I just kind of hope that they find a way to have more just a better scheduling. Because if you're going to tape TV for 2 nights, tape TV for 2 nights so that you get your 4 weeks in the can leading up to your next pay-per-view or whatever you need. That's always the big problem, is that they feel like they need to do a live show to drive their gate, which they do, because not a lot of people, listen, from experience, the amount of people that came to a Toronto live show, pay-per-view or plus special versus the TV tapings the next night and day. Emergence sold out. They had 400 or 500 people in the room, and then I came to TV the next night and there was easily half of that, because they're not coming for TV tapings. I like going to their TV tapings because it's so much more chill. I can really lay back and enjoy myself there. But like also I want a hot crowd too, and so do they. So I understand there's a frustration there. But it's telling. They want to do live, and now there was the report about the potential of TNA going live in 2025. That was a conversation that I was like, that's a daunting task in a lot of different ways. Even if you run it from Full Sail, which was what the reporting was at the time, that they were scoping out Full Sail before Scott got canned. They don't know if they're going to run Full Sail. It's feasible, but it's not necessarily sustainable. It's just it's doing what you did back in the 2010s when you did the Asylum and you did Universal Studios and things like that. I don't know what the answer is, but I know that this is not a great model either, doing these particular shows monthly in such quick succession.
Yeah, I think they hurt their own momentum, this stuff. Anyway, watch TNA Sacrifice tonight.
Crest and I'll be watching, and we'll be doing a post show here on this channel, and I'm sure y'all are going to very much be interested in what we feel. Again, matches are going to be great. The stories going into this one are not exactly top notch. There are better stories in TNA. This one, you could probably get away with just watching our review. Let's get a couple of super chats from Ryan Lambert, and then we're going to move along. You mean Joel wasn't pre-taped this whole show? I was. I pre-taped this entire show, and Jeremy's a very good ad libber.
Yeah.
Very good on you. And also, he sent a super chat saying, money for the women. We, not Joel, love every woman. I also... Anyway, thank you for the super chat. What else do we have to talk about? We got SmackDown tonight. We're going to get to that. Was there anything else for AEW and from Dynamite that was worth bringing up? We talked about Danielson and Osprey. Talked about Okada. A lengthy, good conversation about that. Joe and Wardlow's at Big Business. We talked about that. Someone in the chat, this is what I want to get to. Speaking of Big Business, talked about the interview with Evan T. Mack. I know you listened and covered that. Do you want to give a quick synopsis of that? Because I do want to bring up this one comment, and I want your thoughts. Where was it? It was about her comments about going back to WWE down the line. Essentially feeling like, why are you going to AEW if you're just going to go back to WWE?
Well, it wasn't quite that. So what was weird about that is it was Andrew Zarian's cousin King Potato saying, what are you guys' thoughts on the Mercedes interview that dropped last night? Basically said AEW is just a pit stop and is eventually going back to WWE. Kind of sours the AEW run a little bit. That's from King Potato. Sorry, go ahead. All right, so I'm going to do a long story here. I'll try to truncate as much as I can. This interview was supposed to come out at like 12 yesterday, like noon. The video was supposed to drop at noon. And then I was doing Spotlight yesterday. And after Spotlight, like I saw on my timeline that like the audio version had come out. And then by the time I got around to trying to download the audio version, yanked it. They had yanked it. Shout out to Danny on Twitter, who most people probably know him as a big Mercedes fan. Probably one of the top crew members. He was able to get me the audio because then they re-released it, but they said it was coming out at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm like, what? You already had it labeled for noon just because you put the audio up early, pulled the audio. Now you push the video back to 8. But Danny was one of of course he was, people who was able to get the audio early when it first released. He sent it to me. So I appreciate him getting me the audio quicker instead of waiting until 8 o'clock. All right. So this line that she said on here. So Evan asked about like walking out on WWE. It's just kind of like, why are you sitting here today? She gave a cliched but fine answer. It wasn't, she didn't go into any details or anything. She just said it was a hard decision. It was one that like, allowed me to follow my dreams and everything though. But like that was kind of the gist of it. But she stood by her decision and everything. They cut out the I know I'm going to be back one day. They cut that out of the original audio. It was in what was called the Mac cut, where he basically just took clips from the interview and put them as singular videos, which basically everyone does. But the line was in that. If you go and listen to the first audio, it's not there. At least it wasn't in the audio that I got. Maybe in the full video that was released at 8 p.m., maybe it was in that. I can't say that I actually watched that because I had the audio previously. But it's not in the original audio. So it was very strange that it wasn't in the original audio, but it was in this little cut. I can understand why maybe somebody screwed up on the cut. I can understand why it wasn't in the original audio though. Because if I'm AEW, it's not the greatest look in the world to be like, I know I'm just going to be back in WWE one day. It's not great that she's saying that. It might be true. I think we all can maybe kind of expect her to come back. We all thought she was going to come back at the end of last year until negotiations fell apart. But if you're AEW, I do think now people are going to be like, well, she's going to be back in WWE one day. At the same time, like, I think she's someone who clearly she said she had unfinished business there. I think there was more for her to do in WWE. I think she thinks there's more for her to do in WWE. But who knows? Maybe she really loves AEW. Maybe she's able to elevate and take it to new heights that people aren't seeing. I think a lot of people are seeing where she could take it. And maybe she reaches that. And maybe she's like, you know what? I don't need to go back to WWE. I'm good here. Like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay elevating and staying with AEW. People's minds change all the time, right? How often do we see it? One, in wrestling, but two, just look at like sports in general. I always love using the sports references, but this one, you know, a player's like, I want to be here forever. Kyrie Irving's like, I want to stay in Boston forever. I'm going to re-sign. I'm going to, you know, sign a 10-year contract. And then the moment he's a free agent, he goes to Brooklyn. Like, every athlete, this happens with a lot of athletes. And wrestling is the same way. It's like, yeah, I'm AEW for life. It's like, oh, there's a good money offer from WWE. You know what? I'm WWE for life. My creative's not that bad. Not that good right now. You know what? Let me look over here. Happens all the time.
Great.
Apologies.
That was wonderful. I'm glad you hit the mute button though.
I did. Yeah. I made sure I could feel it coming on. So like, it happens all the time in sports. It happens all the time in wrestling. So she did say that, you know, I'll be back in there. It's possible her mind changes over the course of a couple of years, however long the AEW contract is for. It's very possible her mind changes and she just stays with AEW for life. So I wouldn't put too much into it, but at the same time, I understand why. If you're AEW or you're a fan, you're like, how much am I going to get invested into this if she says she's just going back to WWE? And I don't think she's going to half-ass anything, by the way. I don't think she's going in there, let me just do this because it's fun, and then goes on, unless she's, you know, like only there for 6 months. But I don't think that's the case. I'm sure it's a multi-year deal because that's what most of them are. But I get it. I do. And I am curious as to why it wasn't part of the original cut, but then they uploaded it as part of the Mac cut. It makes me believe that the communication was off on that it wasn't supposed to be there. And then when they uploaded the singular cut, they kind of forgot about that and they put it there, but they haven't pulled it or anything. It's out there now. Like, you can pull it, sure. But much like the audio that came out, like, you can pull it, but it's out there. Well, you know, we'll see when it comes to Mercedes. She's going to debut on Wednesday. It's going to be a big thing. They've built the whole show around her appearing, and I would expect her to be right into, you know, title feuds and big time stuff. We'll see.
Also, let's face it, talking about it now versus talking about it after she's had a couple of great matches, maybe gone and worked a New Japan match, a lot of what we're talking about now might be completely erased and people are just like, yeah, it's just something she said. Easy as that. And Ryan in our chat mentioned, you know, you keep WWE's name in your mouth because that's a bargaining tool down the line if you go back to the table to re-sign. She's smart enough to know. She's smart enough to put it out there that, yeah, I could come back. You never know. And then Tony or whoever's doing negotiations at the time says, where are you going? She says, well, WWE wants me. And they say, how much? And now it becomes money. And that's fine. Get your bag. But again, you have a bunch of really good matches in AEW or beyond, and any bad feelings from this interview about saying something that makes you feel like she's just gonna, coast and then go back to WWE, it kind of gets erased at that moment. And I think she's someone that's going to come in and do really good work and really try her best to make the division number one, and obviously make herself further number one as a superstar in wrestling and out, and then go from there. Easy as that.
Yeah, I do think that the negotiating part is definitely part of it too. And she said in the interview, she said, like, don't think there's just one company out there. Like, realize there are a lot of options.
Yeah, she'll
realize
be
that
MLW next.
Realize that there is a different path for everybody, and don't have your sights just set on one company. I think the line was more just about unfinished business stuff. And maybe after a couple years in AEW, she feels like, you know what? I don't have any business to finish over there. I did what I needed to do over there. Now I need to continue to be here, and I need to continue to lift things here, because the setup what she talked about a lot, the setup was she was talking about walking out. But what she talked about a lot in the interview is the unfinished business stuff and the injury that happened, and wrestling Willow, wrestling for New Japan, wrestling for Stardom, going after the it's good. Going after the IWGP Women's title again, going after the New Japan Strong Women's title. Like, she talked a lot about unfinished business, and I think that was a big reason why she did mention WWE. Is I'm sure in her mind there probably is some unfinished business in WWE. What that is, I don't know. It could be a 4 horsewoman match at WrestleMania. It could be teaming with Bayley in a WrestleMania main event. She's won all the titles. She's main evented WrestleMania against Bianca. But there's still unfinished business with, I don't know what her goals are. I don't know what her desires are and what she considers unfinished. It's probably bigger than just titles, because she's done that. It might even be bigger than, again, main eventing WrestleMania, because she's done that. It could just be lifting all of women's wrestling. It could be main eventing WrestleMania with the women's tag team titles. Don't know what in her mind the unfinished business is.
Unfinished big business.
Well, she dropped a big business reference and then tried to kind of not say that again and just say like money, big money, big money. She kept saying big money instead of big business moves.
Did she laugh it off afterwards with her?
She does have the little laugh. No, it was a fine interview, especially because she had done one since her injury. Like, she hadn't done really anything. She did a few interviews when she signed with New Japan. She wasn't going to talk about anything then. She still didn't really open up a lot as far as what happened in the WWE thing. And that's her prerogative. We don't need to know all of this stuff. She was still pretty kind to WWE. And that's where I think the negotiation part does come into factor, is like, she's smart. She gonna go back like, yeah, that fucking old man. No. Terrible creative. Turns out he's an asshole, even in more ways than one. Like, she knows she does. You don't burn bridges, even if you think you should burn the bridge. It's smart to maybe not burn the bridge, just in case you need to cross that bridge.
Yeah. I have nothing else to add, but Will Chisholm sent a super chat saying, I'm joking, but what if you heard your girl saying I'm cool with my new man, but I know I'm going back to my ex, LOL. So, like, I get the joke. At the same time, we just, we talked about, like, nobody owns you. You did sign a contract, but like, it's a different relationship. But like, I get the joke, but also nobody owns you at this point.
Well, that's
walk away. She did it once.
And I think fans are upset about that. I've seen a few of just like, oh, so she's just gonna go back to WWE. Why is she gonna, why should we invest in her AEW run? I think she's gonna prove why you should invest in her AEW run.
Because the idea here is that she further cements not only her legacy as a wrestler, as a performer, as whatever you want to call her, but if she goes back to WWE, like as long as she does the thing that is literally like rule number 1 in wrestling, leave the place better than you found it. And if that's what she does and she moves on, well, then guess what? The company becomes bigger than the person, because the person gave her all in this case to the company. And she moved on to do the same for another company, because we're trying to raise the tide, high tides raise all boats and so on and so forth. I don't take as much into that comment. I do find it, I found it interesting, and I'm glad we talked about it, because clearly this is something that our audience was interested in, but it's harmless. Knowing that she's coming into AEW, knowing that, we're almost certainly going to see her on Wednesday, I should say. This is interesting. I'm more interested as to where she slots in and what we do, because on the New Japan side of things, with the New Japan Strong title, I don't think that story is done either with the Women's Strong title. And you've got Stephanie Vacher taking on Julia coming up soon. And Stephanie Vacher was the person that Mercedes faced in the first round of that Strong Women's Championship tournament. And it was a very good match. We could see Vacher with that title, and then they do a rematch, and Mercedes captures that one. We don't know. She'll go after the Women's AEW Championship eventually. I don't necessarily want it to be against Toni Storm, because I feel like it's a difficult story to navigate given the way Toni Storm's presentation is. It would be entertaining, but I don't know how it would sit with an audience. But all that in, I'm curious as to where it's going to land.
Yeah, the Toni Storm Mercedes feud, I think they can make it work.
Of
I
course.
think they can make it work, but Toni Storm I think Deonna probably should have won the title. Not that Tony's doing like bad work, but I'm over the interference in the matches and stuff like that. It's just yeah. And I don't know if maybe Deonna's not done with Tony because of how that match ended. We'll see if someone else steps up coming in the coming weeks. We'll see what they do. Maybe they do a rematch. If they do,
should I just change the thumbnail and the name of the show and just be like Mercedes going back to WWE after AEW run and just rage bait people? Should I do this? Chat?
Sure.
You mean chat? Should we do it? Is that what we're
Sure.
going to do? We're going to headline rage bait?
Sure.
All right, I'm going to do it.
All right. Go
After we
for
call it the air. SmackDown is tonight. Let's just get that out of the way. Rock and Roman Reigns return. Cody and Seth are going to be on the show. Solo Sikoa is going to be there. He's probably going to have a match. I think he's going to beat the shit out of Zion Quinn in 10 seconds. Randy Orton's on the show. Bobby Lashley versus Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross representing his group. Thermal.
The TikTokers. They're the TikTokers.
Right. They're going to do the dance down to the ring. Right.
Yeah.
Damage Control. Bailey's on the show. And the return of Logan Paul, because we got to get to whatever his WrestleMania match is. Looking forward to that. Anything else from SmackDown that you're looking forward to?
Santana just said thank you to everyone at AEW.
Big toxic.
Big toxic. Now I'm looking forward to the hour-long Rock, Cody, Seth, Roman promo. And I don't say this, I mean, I say it facetiously, but also I truly am. Like, this feels like a big-time thing. You know what I mean? Like, it feels... And it should. It's The Rock. It's Roman Reigns. It's Cody Rhodes. It's Seth Rollins. It should feel big. But it feels pretty big. And I'm looking forward to seeing these guys, what they're going to have to say when they're all in the ring together for the first time ever. I mean, I know they're at the WrestleMania press conference or whatever the hell they called it. But like that was just kind of kickoff, yeah. Seth didn't really talk during that. That was more of Rock and Cody kind of going back and forth. This is the first time they're all really in the ring together, and I think it'll be good. I'm sure it'll be very long. I'm sure people will be upset about it in some way, but you gotta understand this is what WWE does. WWE does they do the long promo segments, and when you got somebody like Rock, when you got Cody, Roman, Seth, this is what you're going to get. You want your 5-star matches? Watch Dynamite this past week. That had a great match.
They had several good matches.
Yeah.
Sorry, this popped me. Dwayne, we're going to Sizzler. You're paying.
Do you think that goes on first? Or do you think like they put it on last to be like, you got to hit this mark, buddy?
I think they got to put it on last and just force them to hit the mark. Because I think people backstage and on, online, like fans were kind of annoyed that stuff got shuffled around so much last week that it feels like, you got 9:58 Eastern, you got to be done. And they're in Texas.
See,
8:58 Eastern, you got to be done.
They did that the first week Rock came back. That felt like a nothing promo because you could tell Rock had so much more in him for that. And they had to cut at 9:58. So they're like, oh, yeah, Rock kind of left a little bit on the table there.
You give them the last tonight, and then next week the Rock concert opens up the show.
I'd keep opening with this stuff. I know I know if they go long, that's going to cut into stuff. You know what? Underbook the show in that case.
I mean, next week, yeah, but this week they've already said like Logan Paul's coming back, Randy Orton's on the show.
Sure.
Like,
they're not saying what they're doing. They're just saying they're on the show.
No, but they are like actively promoting them as being on the show. The only matches that are really announced were Bobby Lashley versus Karrion Kross.
Yeah, that could be 2 minutes.
No, it can be, but I'm just saying like this. They haven't really promoted matches as much as they have appearances, but like, oh, and Solo Sikoa is going to beat someone up. But other than
right, you can promote appearances, and the appearance can be 2 minutes. Like that's fine. You don't need Logan Paul out there for a 20-minute segment.
Yeah, and I'll point this out. Like ratings went down. They didn't go down that much, by the way, when it came to the Bloodline and Rock segment. Like it stayed fairly even, and it evened out to a 2.3. If you want to get into numbers, it's good.
I would keep opening the show with
Kim, go.
Yeah, you should definitely go.
Especially if you're just joining us now and you go back to midway through the show and what we were talking about before Sean came on, go to the show.
Yeah, you gotta go.
You gotta go. There's gonna be some good stuff.
I would keep opening with them, and again, just underbook these shows. Don't promise too much because people are there for, like, they're in the building for Rock in all of this. They're there. That's what they're there for. You don't need to promote a bunch of matches. You don't need to really promote anything else. They're there for this. They're gonna stick around unless you're Steven Jensen. You're just gonna leave after the Cody stuff, but like, or you're gonna go home and smoke some crack.
It's Texas this week.
Yeah, but like, they're gonna stick around for this. So I'd start with them, underbook, and then if you have more time, you have more time. But then you're not fully cutting anything out of it. I give them as much damn time as they want. Honestly, we can do. Tell The Rock no. The Rock go out there and do what the hell he wants.
That does sound like The Rock. Before we get out of here, because you did mention that Santana had posted something and someone had asked, what did he say? I'll just read it verbatim. So it took a few days to reflect, and I can't tell you how truly blessed and grateful I feel. It's been 5 years full of ups and downs, but above all, it taught me so much about myself and this business. I'm thankful for the opportunity I was given to be a part of history at the ground level. I can say that I'll forever be a part of that legacy right at day one. But as you know, there comes a time in life where you have to make the decisions to take a bet on yourself. We only get one chance at this life thing, and life is about taking risks. You'll never know your true potential unless you really put it to work. I'm a big believer in when one door closes, another bigger door opens, and I'm so excited for what the future holds for me. With that being said, I want to thank God and my father for continuing to guide me, my family for their endless support, and the fans who have backed me endlessly no matter what, to Ortiz for the years, and AEW for the knowledge and opportunity. I told you the best is yet to come. So there's Santana's statements. Yeah. He's excited, as he should be. He's moving along, and hopefully he has some success coming his way. We have success coming our way in that the show is over and we got through it and we're done. So anything you want to promote before we get out of here?
I don't promote anything. I I will promote again. Kylie and Auntie Collins have a new show this Sunday. I believe it's at noon. So everyone, make sure to tune in and watch that. It is International Women's Day. I was gonna save this portion for the end of the show, but we kind of did a little bit earlier, so I'm not gonna rehash too much of it. But I appreciate all the women who are on this channel, the women who we work with here at Fightful, just the women in general in the space. I know it's a very difficult space to be in for a lot of reasons, and I admire all of you for your strength, for pushing through a lot of bullshit that you all receive online that you shouldn't. And continuing to cover pro wrestling because you enjoy pro wrestling. So yeah, shout out to everyone out there, all the females out there doing it, whether they cover wrestling, whether they're part of wrestling, like as a wrestler or an on-air personality, whatever it might be. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, I guess that's it. Shout out to my wife.
She's pretty great. She's all right. Shout out to mine. She's all right too.
It's International Women's Day, Joel. We have wives. We should support them and appreciate them.
We know mine is fantastic. I say it all the time. I get to go read to my son's daycare class this evening or this afternoon.
What are you reading?
I think I found a book. They're doing so every week. There's a theme to the week. This week is monster trucks, or it's trucks, I should say. And I have a book about monsters and trucks, and we call our kid our little monster. So there you go. I got a book called Monster Trucks.
Joel, you wanna know what you should? Hold on.
If you're gonna pull up "Go the F to Sleep," that's already been suggested, and we're not gonna do it.
What Go the F to Sleep? I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, there you go. Someone's saying "Go the F to Sleep." We're not doing it.
What? I've never heard of this.
Don't bother. Anyway, what are you gonna suggest?
Hold on.
You got to look it up first.
Yeah.
All right.
It's about here, Joel. Here. Hold on. The fascinating radio.
Yeah, your upload times are just great.
Audio upload times. What do you mean?
I assume you're uploading something.
Oh no, I gotta find it.
Oh, this is even worse. Okay.
I got it.
Okay.
Joel,
Okay.
Joel,
Got it. Okay. Got it.
Okay. So, all right. Joel, I got it.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. Now it's uploading.
Even though we weren't uploading it.
No, I had to find it.
Oh.
Now, all right. You ready?
Yeah.
This is what you should read.
Okay. Got it.
All right. You ready?
God damn it.
It's about family too, Joel.
It's probably not what I'm going to read. I'm going to read.
Why do you hate family?
I'm going to read Sun Tzu's The Art of War. And you kids will sit here and you will like it. War and Peace. Like just all of, oh my God. We were told, please choose child appropriate books. And I'm like, we're going to do all of it.
Pretty sure that's child appropriate.
I don't think it is.
I'm sorry. It's about family.
I was told I should have seen that coming, and that is a very good point. I'm going to read the entire script to Mac and me. That's what I'm going to do. Anyway.
Do you want more suggestions, Joel?
Nope, because I already got it.
Hold on.
Rob and Maggie are live at 3 p.m. Eastern. Go check them out. Go check out Kylie and Auntie Collins and their new show. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's on Sunday. And tonight, myself and Cresta Star will be live here on this channel doing the TNA Sacrifice post show. Do you have one more suggestion for the group?
Yeah. Hold on. It was a web PBH bullshit, so I had.
Oh yeah, that's garbage. You got to convert that stuff. I hate that web P.
All right. So now I gotta
upload it,
screenshot it, and now upload it.
Oh, that's so silly. It's so dumb.
Yeah, it's very dumb. All right, here. What about this one, Joel?
Yeah.
What about this one?
Yeah, no, that's pretty much what I expected. This is not in English, by the way. This is very much.
So?
I don't speak German.
That's even better. They're learning about cars. They are learning about family, and they're learning a new language. I'm sorry, Joel. I'm sorry for trying to educate the Canadians because they can't count to 4 like Adam Edge over here. I'm trying to get them to learn about cars, family, and a whole new language so they can be smarter than Adam Edge, so they can be smarter than the average Canadian.
The sign says the Rocky, the.
My
No.
bad for trying to educate the children of Canada. Sorry, everyone.
Thank you for getting it right. Anyway, I'm back here later tonight. I have other things to do, so I'm gonna get out of here. Are we done? Yes, we'll be back Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Maybe we'll have a guest, but you know what? This worked out pretty okay, didn't it? We'll find a guest. Until then, I'm at Troll Pearl, JOELPARL. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, have a good weekend, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Announce